Testing, testing, testing. Hello, hello, hello. No, they said they can't hear me. Testing, testing. Can anyone hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Testing, testing. Can anyone hear me? Testing, testing. Hello, hello.
I thought you were stuck in time then.
Give me a second. I'm having mic issues. People can't hear me. Hello,
You
hello.
got 20 seconds and I'm moving.
Hello. Hello. All right, it's okay. I'll just use the chat for tonight, so we'll make it work. They can't hear me, but they can hear Adrian. It's fine. I'll just use the chat tonight. Adrian, can you talk to them real quick? Test.
I can. Only just the voice is going. 6 games in, it's not a good sign.
I think so.
So we got a break coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a second.
How the other results go, Dix?
Colorado killing Houston right now.
Good.
3-1, that's good.
Timbers on up.
Yeah.
Don't want that. We need them to keep them there. We're above them.
Another good year.
Hello? Oh. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I think we'll be fine as long as we can hear them, aren't we?
Yeah, but I need to make sure they can hear you too.
Oh, you can't hear me? That's probably a good thing.
All right. Okay, great. Apologies with that, everyone. I
Very
appreciate your
depressed.
patience as we work through some technical difficulties.
Oh, can we not just bring them in these days?
Soon, Gab. All right. We'll get things started with Jerry Zagoda. Jerry, your line is open.
Adrian, did it feel like when you walked off the pitch that it was lopsided, tilted as much time as you spent in the other end there tonight?
Could you start that again for me, please, Jerry?
I said, when you walked off the pitch, did it feel like it was lopsided or tilted as much time as you spent down near their goal tonight?
Well, I thought it was a magnificent effort from the players, considering we were probably still playing, weren't we, 10 o'clock on Wednesday nearly, considering we're playing such a young, athletic team with energy. For us to impose ourselves on them the way we did in the second half. I think somebody just told me we had 27 shots, so maybe some shooting practice is needed because I don't think the keepers had enough to do for the efforts we've had. But no, I can't praise the players highly enough because I know there was a lot of tired bodies, after the game on Wednesday. And yeah, for us to put in that type of performance and to be going the way we were from 80 onwards was testimony to the group.
Andy, your line is open.
Adrian, are the guys attacking the way that you want in the right spaces that you want, and they're just not getting it in the final third? How would you describe why it's been so close but can't be able to get over the line?
No, I just think we've had a mixture of, final ball not being good enough or missing chances. I can think of maybe 5 or 6 other opportunities that we've had where we should have done better. Had they gone in, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. And I think, but when I look at the last 15, 20 minutes, the endeavour, the determination, the desire to make something happen, especially from our 2 fullbacks, who, the way we play, they have to put in an incredible amount of energy in. And, I thought Romain and Chase really gave us something later on in the game when, the game got a little bit end-to-end for my liking. But we were in the ascendancy for probably most of the second half. But a team like them, you're always worried that you're going to get done with the old sucker punch on the counter. And tonight we didn't.
Pierre Nugent, your line is open.
Adrian, you just touched on it. Your 2 backs, especially on the right side with Romain. Was this maybe the best game he's had this season so far? He seemed to create a lot of opportunities for you on the right side.
For sure. Yeah, I thought he was. I thought he was outstanding, and his willingness to keep going. And I thought he started to combine really well again. When Robin's out here, Robin gives us a lot of calmness on the ball and makes a lot of really good decisions. And then Ray started to come out this side as well. So it didn't surprise me that we started to, get nice little combination play and get people in the final third. It's all right getting the ball there, but you've got to get behind that last line. And I thought we did it really well down this right-hand side, especially late on.
Jerry, your line is open.
How unfair would it have been to walk out of here with a draw?
Well, it would have been frustrating, but, when you've lost 4 on the spin, I did say to my staff, I'd have set for 4 points before the week started. So to come out with 6, and then we've got a nice little break now, which some of the guys needed. Hopefully it will give us an opportunity to bed the 2 new guys in. We're hopeful of getting them in this week. So to have got the 6 points and, with an opportunity of bringing 2 more quality players in, I'm quite pleased about that.
Andy, your line is open.
Adrian, can you describe why you picked BK over Yuka tonight?
Well, Yuka went over on his knee and it was a bit swollen for a couple of days, and I knew this was going to be a counter-attack game, and obviously Brent's younger, a bit more athletic, and I thought Brentford did very well actually tonight. Won his headers, used the ball well, and that was like he was before he got injured last year. So he can be pleased with his night's work. And obviously with Ozzy, we just felt that his age, etc., and the amount of work that he put in on Wednesday, we just felt we could freshen it up a little bit with a bit more energy in the middle.
Andy, go ahead.
Adrian, did you get an explanation on that handball? It sounded like it was away from the body, but not too far. What would you hear?
I'd like an explanation from somebody, because the ball is going in, won't chop his path. And the only reason it doesn't go into his path is because it's been stopped by an arm. So, but I'm not the only manager who doesn't know what penalties are now or what handball is, so I'm probably not on my own.
Pierre, your line is open.
Adrian, with some of the shots that there were some shots that were on target, but a lot of shots that were off target. Were you just rushing it a little bit from your perspective, guys tightening up, or what do you attribute that to?
Maybe a bit of both, but we've got some unbelievable strikers of the ball, and I'm if you watch this group in shooting practice and training, it's a nightmare for goalkeepers, because what they can do with the ball is unbelievable at times. So a little bit at a loss to understand why we keep missing from maybe 18, 20 yards out. Maybe we'll practice it more, but this is not a practice thing. This is a case of just concentrating and hopefully hitting the target, especially with the balls that we play with now. They just hit the ball, hit through it, and the ball does things for you. But no, it is slightly disappointing, the amount of efforts we're having, and we're not making the keeper work hard enough to keep the ball out.
Jerry?
How much of a spark Mark has Wanchope given you when he's going into the games?
Well, no, he's got a presence, the guy, and as I said on Wednesday, he's got 31 goals in 50 odd games for Boca Juniors. So the guy's got a nose for a goal, and the one thing that we've got now we've got a couple of more weeks to really get some proper work into him, and we're not worried about is he going to be needed on a Saturday. So I would think that for the next certainly the next 8-9 days, the physical work will be mainly centered around him and maybe the new guys, because the other group, they need a rest for 3 or 4 days, and then we'll start to build it up again.
Andy, go ahead.
Adrian, obviously you can't attribute the last goal to chemistry between Robin and Ray, but what have they shown kind of in open play this game and this season?
Well, they're quality players. I said this before. I felt Ray's got better each game, and tonight he did some exceptional things. But good players like playing with good players, and they're on the same wavelength. And I thought some of the little touches from Robin down the side in the second half were outstanding. And obviously you can see that Ray now is starting to gravitate to this side of the field and play with Robin. As I said, good players like playing with good players, and certainly that is something that we can work on. And it's not a coincidence that Romain now is starting to really work the final third as well, because the two people he's playing with down that side have got really, really good quality, and people know that.
All right, we've got time for a couple more here for Adrian. So if you have some questions, please select the raise hand icon next to your name. Andy, go ahead.
Adrian, one sub until stoppage time. What were you wanting to see from those guys? Obviously, a lot of minutes from those guys. Did you feel like they had the energy to keep going?
I did, and we were in the ascendancy, and sometimes you can change it for changing's sake. I know you American people have a fascination with substitutes, but when things are going well, I don't think sometimes you should change it and disrupt the rhythm. Sometimes you do it for tactical reasons, sometimes you do it to change the way the game is going. But when you're in the ascendancy the way we were, I didn't see the point of making any changes.
Pierre, go ahead.
Adrian, does it feel like the game has slowed down a little bit for Hastani? He seems to play with a lot more control and confidence out there. Have you noticed that as well?
I think he's been outstanding this season. It doesn't surprise us. I think everybody knows what we think of him. Boy's quality wherever you put him on the field. I've said it before. He's got an incredible feel for the game, no matter where he is on the field. He can dribble, he can shoot, he can tackle, he can run, he can head it. So no, he's been terrific for us. So it doesn't surprise me, Pierre, now, because the kid's a really good player.
And last question of the night here. Andy, go ahead.
Adrian, with Ethan scuffling this season, what have you tried to show him or tell him? Obviously, he's a veteran. He's been here before, but what do you try to do to keep him going?
Well, the thing is, Andy, I said this to Chase, and, I thought Chase was outstanding today to come through what he's been through the last few weeks. He's made a few errors, and he's been costly. But it's all about, personality and about actually fighting through it. And as I said to Chase in the week, and I say to Ethan, the only faith I can show him is by picking him in the team. And I know what I'm going to get out of him. And I know what it's like when you're playing with not a lot of confidence. But sometimes you just have to play through it and keep working and hope it starts to turn for you. And I thought we saw a lot of that with Chase tonight. I think Ethan's fighting his game a wee bit at this moment in time, but he's such an incredible professional. We all know that he will come through the other side and start showing us the quality that we know he's got and what he's shown in this league over the last 10 years.
Adrian, thank you so much for your time.
Cheers, everybody.
We'll have midfielder Will Trapp up and defender Michael Boxall.
Hello, Will. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll kick things off with Andy Greeter. Andy, your line is open.
Will, what did the guys show you tonight for 95 minutes to keep pushing forward to try to break through?
I think, you have to put it into context, right? It's the third game in a week. We're on a tough stretch. We win on Wednesday. We feel buoyed by that. And then tonight, I think we just were relentless in our efforts. We kept going. We kept peppering them with shots. Granted, we had, 27 shots, only 7 on goal. But the guys just kept going. And that's a great spirit for the entire team. And you see, we all know in MLS, those games come back to help you down the line. And this was a big one for us.
Reminder, if you have a question, please select the raise hand icon next to your name. Andy, go ahead.
Will, Adrian said that he looked at this as a 4-point week. He would be happy if you guys got 4. Is that how you felt about it, or did you feel like you needed 6?
Yeah, we would have loved 9, right? Because the game in Colorado really felt like it was in our grasp, and it was. So after that, I felt it was one game at a time, and we really did a good job of focusing in on Wednesday and then refocusing in today. And I think, once again, you saw the fight, the relentlessness, and the effort from all the boys, putting in shift after shift. It's been a long week and a lot of miles on our legs, but I think you see the fitness of the group to come in at the 95th minute and win the game.
Pierre?
Well, throughout the game, it didn't seem like you guys got a ton of pushback. It seemed like you controlled the pace of play for the majority of the game. What do you attribute that to, and why do you think you were able to limit their opportunities so much tonight?
Yeah, I think our pressure was strong in this game. We were organized, and to be honest, we were winning the ball high up the field. They were a team that likes to at times overplay. When they did break it, it was a bit dangerous, but we did a very good job of closing space and honestly playing in between players to where you can press, but you can also recover to a different spot. And I think that helped us a lot in terms of winning balls high up the field and quelling any pressure that they could really create going forward.
Jerry, your line is open.
Did the pitch feel tilted or lopsided at all when you guys came off as much time as you spent in the other end?
We were just happy to win, Jerry. At the end of the day, it was something that these fans needed, especially going into a week where we won't have a game. To leave it with 2 wins in a row at home in front of our fans was very important for us. And this group stepping into the next game against an opponent we've already played against, Salt Lake. So we felt good about the performance, but there's always things you can improve.
Got time for a few more questions here for Will, so if you have one, please let me know. Pierre, go ahead.
Will, what was your vantage point on the corner and the goal there? From your perspective, it must have been a pretty thrilling sight from where you were standing.
Yeah, I had a good view of BK on the header. I actually couldn't see who was right there for the tap in, but that's what we work on. To be honest, that's Robin's run and creating that little bit of doubt in their zone, and or at least the one zonal player there. And ultimately, when you take chances, you put the ball in the right areas, you can score goals.
Andy?
Well, obviously you're holding it not so much in the final third, but what do you think the reason is as to why you guys haven't been able to finish as many chances as you guys have gotten?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of more patience, a little bit more quality at times. Sometimes when you get in the final third and it's been a back and forth kind of transition game, you tend to rush things at times. And I think at the end of the game, we were just relentless in terms of being there. But earlier in the game, it was a little bit more sporadic. So you rush through your progressions and you start to do things more erratically than we should have. And I think for us as a group, it's continuing to be patient. It's continuing to find the right opportunities to get in behind them and to create crossing opportunities, which can be dangerous. And when we do that, it really does put the defense under a lot of pressure.
Jerry, go ahead.
Did you get a look at the handball that wasn't, and did you guys get an explanation?
Yeah. I had a perfect view because I was the one that passed the ball, so it seemed to me that maybe it was a little bit close proximity and he couldn't get his hand out of the way, but that's at least what Ted was saying, the referee was saying after he looked at it. But in live time, it seemed like a penalty to me, but those things are tough. With the handball rule, you saw today in the FA Cup, final. It's the same thing. It's definitely a law that can be difficult to interpret at times.
Got time for one more question here for Will. So if we have any, or we don't. All right, Andy, you've got the final question.
Well, what's it been like for you with, I know you didn't have it tonight, but with Ozzy next to you, 2 6s, what's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Oz, once again, I can't say it enough. His calm, his leadership, just by example, he helps the team so much in the little things. And I think, obviously, a little bit older in terms of where he's at in his career, but I'm sure he could have played 90 minutes again tonight and been great. But he's someone that, once again, he's such a rock for the team, and it's great to play alongside him.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll have defender Michael Boxall up next. Stay tuned.
Thanks, guys.
Michael, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder, if you have a question, please select the raise hand icon next to your name. Andy, go ahead.
Oxy, after Colorado, Adrian said that he wanted to get 4 points this week. Did you see 4 points as sufficient, or do you feel like 6 was required?
I think knowing how we were going to react after those first 4 performances and where we'd put ourselves, and having 2 games at home, I think 6 was kind of where we set our goal. So I think I don't think I would have been happy with 4. So yeah, obviously happy where we're at. Kind of expected us to kind of get the 6, even though it did come a little late tonight.
Jerry, go ahead.
27 shots, I think 6 on target. How unfair would it have been to walk out of here without a victory tonight with a draw?
I didn't hear all of that, but I'm going to take a stab at. You're talking about all the shots we had, but if we wouldn't have. I think in the final third, we've still got a little bit of work we need to touch up on. I think just because you got those shots, I think a large amount of those shots coming from out of the box. I think we need to create a few more, just to be a bit more decisive and clear cut in the final third. Give our front men chances within the box. But yeah, even if we hadn't scored tonight, whether we'd had 30 shots, 50 shots, 10 shots, I would have been disappointed if we hadn't managed to put one away.
Andy.
Oxy, what can you say just about the perseverance to get it in the 94th minute finally?
About the first 2 what, sorry?
Just the perseverance you guys go to get it that late.
I think for us, especially when we're at home, when that crowd pushes us on, I think you don't get tired. You just need to keep going and going, and we definitely feed off the crowd. And it didn't feel like there were, 5,000 people tonight. It didn't sound like that, or less, 4,000. So I'm a little bit excited and concerned for the air drums when it's going to be going to have a bit more than 4,000 the next time we play there. So yeah, I can't wait for that.
Reminder, if you have questions for Boxy, please select the raise hand icon. Andy, go ahead.
Brent came back into the fold. How did you feel about his night?
I thought he was solid as I expect him to be. I think to bounce back, I think he was probably hurting a little bit from the Seattle game and getting dropped there. But I think I've said this every time. I usually know exactly what I'm going to get out of Brent. Full of heart, great defender, like can handle anybody in this league. And as long as we all stay switched on as a unit, it's then we can get the job done. And I think, pretty sure it's his header at the final goal. He pops up in big moments for us at times, and I think in the Seattle game it just got cleared off the line, and same thing happened for him again tonight. But at least someone was on hand for the rebound, and I think he was solid as can be tonight, and made my job a little bit easier as well.
We got time for a few more questions here for Michael. So let me know if you have any, or else I will let him go. All right, I'm going to let him go.
Nice, guys.
Good night,
Thank you.
guys.
All right, have a good
Oh,
night,
no, wait,
everyone.
hold on. I have one more here for Andy, because I cut him off early. And I owe him.
Okay.
Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, Gabby owes me right now. Foxy, being honored before Wednesday's game, with the jersey signed by your teammates, 100 appearances. What did that mean to you to get that honor and make that achievement?
Honestly, it's doesn't mean a whole lot for me. It's like, I think if you kind of get caught up in trying to chase X amount of games, like for me, I'm just trying to focus on the next one. So obviously game number 100 didn't go too well in Colorado, so you just want to move on to the next one. And then, I mean, when I went home and looked at the shirt and some of the words that some of the boys have written, that's going to be a cool thing to look back on when it's all said and done. But yeah, I'm just focused on the next one, just trying to push this team up the ladder and make sure we're playing some important games come October, November.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Michael.
Cool. Or anytime. Have a good night.
And that wraps it up.